Okay, scholars, here we go. We're going to start our next student-paced learning, and we are going to be talking about context clues. Now, if you were part of the remote learning and watched the classes, then you should remember what a context clue is. And in front of you, your first page, you have the same anchor chart that Ms. Esther has. And so if you notice, the little man here, he is holding a magnifying glass, okay? And when we think about magnifying glasses, we think about the words clues, like a detective, okay? Going hunting for clues. Well, the word context would be like text, as in what we are reading, okay? So when we read, we can look for clues. But what would we need that for? How many of you have ever read something and you skipped over a word because you didn't know how to say it or you didn't know what it meant? Well, that's not a good reading strategy, okay? Sometimes the author gives us clues to help us understand the word. Today, we are going to be reading some non-fiction stories. Let's review that word real quick. Non-fiction means it's not fake, okay? So non-fiction means it's not fake. That means it is true. And sometimes when we read true stories or true books, we're learning about something, whether it's dinosaurs or animals or people or places, okay? And sometimes when we read those books, we have words that are very hard for us to read and for us to understand because they're words we've never seen before. Well, today we're going to talk about how the author sometimes gives us definitions. So the definition is the meaning of the word. So let's look at your paper. This is kind of hard for you to see on the video, but it says clues that good readers use to determine the meaning of the word. So some of those clues might be, we can look at pictures, okay, especially if we're looking at a picture book or a book that has pictures. Sometimes it might be helping words. Sometimes it might be words that you already know. Sometimes it might be definitions, okay, and of course, it could be words that mean the same or the opposite. Well, today we are going to talk about examples and definitions. Okay, so let's review real quick. Context clues are strategies that we can use to help us understand an unknown word, meaning a word that we don't know what it means. So let's move on and let's get started on learning how to look for definitions. Okay, so next in your packet is an article or a nonfiction story called Into the Flames. And then you should also have a graphic organizer that looks like this. So Miss Esther has put them side by side, and that's going to help me be able to read and also write down some things at the same time. So go ahead and set your desk up like this, or set your materials up side by side so that you have room to work. All right, let's get started. So I know the first thing I need to always do is let's look at the title, okay? So I'm going to take my highlighter and I am going to highlight my title. It says Into the Flames. I'm also going to look at pictures. Remember, pictures are clues that can help us understand the story. Here I see firemen, I see a forest, and I know it's in black and white, but these are actually fire, like flames as in a fire. So it says Into the Flames. So let's read our story first, and then we're going to go look for these words: smoke jumpers, remote, and drought. Okay, so Miss Esther's going to do one with you, and then we're going to pause the video and let you go do these two, okay? And then you're going to practice some on your own, okay? So let's read the story first. Into the Flames. Follow along with Miss Esther as we read. An alarm sounds at the base. Smoke jumpers quickly grab their gear. Minutes later, they are getting ready to jump out of an airplane. The parachutes open, and they land near a blazing wildfire. Smoke jumpers are firefighters with special training. They jump from planes into wildfire areas that are remote or hard to find. The smoke jumpers carry enough food and water with them to survive for several days. During the last few months, smoke jumpers have been very busy. It is wildfire season in the western United States. The season began in June and usually lasts until November, a very hot year. Many wildfires start naturally, either by lightning or by the sun's heat. Other fires are caused by people. This year, 2005, is unique. Wildfire official Rose Davis told Weekly Reader. In the Southwest, heavy rains in the early part of the year caused a lot of new grass to grow. The summer was hot and dry. New grass burns quickly when it dries out. The Northwest is in a drought. A drought is a long period of dry weather with little or no rain. Dry grass and trees catch fire quickly. A wildfire can spread from 5 acres to 500 acres within an hour or two. Smoke jumper Lori Messenger told Weekly Reader, "We can get 2 small remote fires very fast and put them out while they are still small." Okay, so this story was about firefighters who help fight fires, wildfires. That means fires that start naturally, okay, by lightning or just by the dryness in the air. So let's look at our graphic organizer. Here, I put some unknown words: smoke jumpers, remote, and drought. We're going to look for clues that kind of help us in the story. Now remember, we're focusing on definition. That means the author has told us the meaning. So our clue is going to be a sentence that we highlight. And here, we're going to think, what does that word mean? Okay, so the first one up is smoke jumpers. So I'm going to go to my story. I see the word smoke jumpers here. It's in bold. So I'm going to highlight that. Okay, so with your highlighter, highlight that word. And then I'm going to say, smoke jumpers quickly grab their gear. Minutes later, they are getting ready to jump out of an airplane. Their parachutes open, and they land near a blazing fire. Smoke jumpers are what? Firefighters with special training. That's our definition, guys. It tells us right here, smoke jumpers are firefighters with special training. So what were some of the clues? So here in our chart where it says clues, we're going to write some things that were clues. Well, it told me that they jump out of airplanes. They, let's see. It even uses the word firefighter here, so I'm going to write that. Okay, so what do I think the word means? Well, it told us what it means, right? I think the word means people who fight or help put out wildfires. So basically, they're firefighters with superpowers, if you want to know what I think. So people who fight wildfires. So pause your video and get these 2 blocks filled out. Okay, now let's see what you can do. Okay, this is the student practice. Okay, so I want you to find the word remote and highlight it. So grab your highlighter, find the word remote. And then I want you to think about, are there any clues that they give us here? Remember, a clue is something that the author might tell us. Now, this is not a TV remote, guys. Okay, this has to do with wildfires. And then here, I want you to write down what you think the word means. Go ahead and pause your video. Okay, what do you think the word remote means? Well, Miss Esther said the clue was that the story told us that it was hard to reach. Hard to reach. So it says, they jump from planes into wildfire areas that are remote or hard to reach. Okay? So for me, my clue was something that's hard to reach might mean that it is far away. It's not easy to get to. Okay? They have to jump out of an airplane to get there. So remote is something that's hard to reach, which means it is far away. All right, last word, drought. I want you to do the same thing. Highlight the word. Read the sentence around the word. Are there any clues? What do you think it means? Pause your video and go work. All right, guys, y'all have done great. Let's see if you got this one right. Remember, if you didn't get it right, I want you to erase it and fix it, okay? So if you didn't get what Miss Esther wrote, or if it's not even close, I want you to erase it. But if it's close and you think, oh yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, then you can leave it, okay? All right, so our word is drought. Miss Esther has highlighted our word. Let's read this sentence now. A drought is a large period of dry weather with little or no rain. So I see the words dry. I see the words no rain. So when I think of the word drought, I think of it as a time when the weather is very dry. That's what Miss Esther thinks it means, okay? So a drought is when there's no rain. It's really dry, okay, which is actually very dangerous for wildfires. So what we did, scholars, was we looked at for clues in a nonfiction story, and we really focused on a definition. So sometimes when we read, the author will give us an actual definition, meaning the clue is right there in our story to help us figure out the word. All right, so now it's going to be your time to show me what you learned. So you're going to leave this video and go and complete the Nearpod. The Nearpod is your exit ticket. During the exit ticket, you're going to show me that you can go back to a story, find the definition, and figure out what the word means. I can't wait to see how smart you are.